Welcome to the Take a Seat podcast. This is Mario.
And Clint.
And as you can hear, we're in a place that has better sound
Nice.
because there's not as much echo. This is the second bedroom in my apartment
Yep.
that doesn't get used. A disgrace. Anyway, thank you for
Yeah,
being
that's
here.
strange, dude. You pay for a 2-bedroom but only use one.
I know, man. At the time, when we first moved, my girlfriend and I moved in together, it seemed to me in my head like, okay, well, I'm already paying $850, right? All bills paid and all that at the time when I lived on Washington. So, okay, I can stick up to this range, and I guess we could use the extra space. Again, this is my, at the time, detachment of like
Yeah.
wanting my own space, my own guest bathroom,
Yeah.
all this. Now in hindsight, that was stupid. Very bad decision. Like, quite frankly, funnily enough, when we were looking at apartments to move in together, right?
Mm-hmm.
She told me, well, why don't you just move into my apartment in Galveston? Because, I mean, she had a solid 2-bedroom apartment. Like, it was maybe like 70% of this apartment total. So, I mean, it was still pretty spacious,
Yeah.
just different layer, I'm sorry, not
Layout.
layout. Yes. But to me at the time, I was at the county. This is March of 2021. And so it just didn't make sense. Like,
Right.
I'm not going to drive an hour 15
Right.
to and from. But I would have saved. She was paying $600 a month.
Wow.
Like in the heart of downtown. I'm sorry, of Galveston, the really nice area. Like,
600.
I know, dude.
And that sounds like the projects of Houston, dude.
Yeah, not even, dude. That's like.
No, I was in the projects. I was paying like $540, dude.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I was in the projects.
Yeah, the projects that deliver pizza to you at 8 a.m. on a Saturday.
And it wasn't pizza.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I've been there. So fast forward like 4 months, I got let go, and I deeply regret not moving to Galveston with her.
Yeah.
Because now we have all this room, which, I mean, I'm grateful for it. God, provides.
Yeah.
So I'm not complaining.
And your family stayed here before in this room
Yeah.
too, so that's worked out.
Yeah, it's convenient.
Yeah.
I guess I save everybody else money except for me. Anyway, sorry y'all. So, reverting to today's topic, controversial as it may be, we don't care. So, most of you have at some point on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, whatever you use, heck, even YouTube, you have more than likely at this point seen Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp. Now, just to clarify, for those that you don't know, two famous actors, they're multimillionaires at the end of the day, but this isn't about the money. This is about the situation and the societal roles in this, both from the two people that are in the case and the way that we as a society, I believe, we have failed the person that was falsely accused of the things that we're about to discuss. So here we go. So these two people, man and woman, both rich, so it's not like it's one of those sugar baby gold digger situations. Like, they were both rich. Sure, Johnny Depp's probably richer, whatever, but that's not the point.
Oh, he's richer, all right.
Yeah,
Dude, his net worth is $400 million.
there you go.
Yeah.
She's probably right at like at 390 million, so gold digger. But no, it's not that. I know it's not that.
No.
But so
I didn't even know who this chick was until this case. That's how I know it's not that. Because I've never been a fan of Johnny Depp to the point where I'm seeking his movies out like how I was with Will Smith. Like,
Right.
when I saw Will Smith be in a new movie, I'd be like, oh, I want to see that because I love Will Smith, right?
yeah,
But Johnny Depp, it's like, if the movie looks good, then I'll watch the movie. Not
Right.
that I'm against Johnny Depp. I mean, he's always been a great actor.
yeah,
Ever since, like, Edward Scissorhands, I've always liked his character.
yeah. That was a good movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
at the end of the day, like, he wasn't on my radar like that.
Mm,
But
I agree. I used to be a big fan of Will Smith, and then I got slapped with reality
He's so stupid.
of like his movies really aren't that good.
Shut up.
And then the Oscars happened, and I was like, all right, well, I guess.
His movies really are that good, dude.
Yeah, they slap from time to time. From time to time.
That's so stupid. That's so stupid.
But yeah, so anyway, so the point of this is that they got married, right? And I guess things went sideways, as it seems like they always do when people get married. I don't know. Maybe it's just the hyper rich that experience. No, it happens almost always. Whatever. Um, and after I think a couple of years of being married, she released a book and started releasing claims that Johnny Depp was being abusive and manipulating and physically, emotionally abusive, and it was just the worst abomination to mankind,
Yeah.
an enemy to females all over the world.
And I didn't hear any of that stuff.
Yeah, no,
I-
it
like-
was out there.
You actually were hearing that
Yes.
stuff. Wow, I didn't even hear it until
Yeah.
now.
She wrote a book.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
She wrote a book depicting all the quote unquote events and all the instances and how she was dealing with it and how she was recovering, and she was playing into the whole I'm a
Me too.
strong woman and all I need is me, myself, and like playing into every single thing that the current social climate would depict as reinforcement.
Yeah.
Which I mean, she played it well
Yeah.
until she got sued by her ex-husband or husband now, and the evidence points differently.
I think it is her ex-husband. I think Johnny Depp is actually the ex. I think they got divorced in 2018.
Oh, so they actually got divorced.
That's what I was
Okay.
looking up online. I think
Mhm.
I may be wrong, but I think it was 2018 that they got the divorce.
Well, she was countersued. Okay, so wait. Let's go back. So she released this book, and he started getting dropped left and right. And I mean, he was losing opportunities and losing friendships, and people were coming out and speaking out against Johnny Depp just based off of the testimony of this one ex-wife or wife at the time who was claiming things without really providing any evidence. So, oh no. She released some pictures showing what looked to be physical acts of abuse bestowed upon her. And so this man lost movie roles, lost connections to people. I mean, he said it all himself. If you look at this trial and you follow it, he will tell you. Actually, he specifically stated, somebody asked, I don't know if it was the defense attorney, the prosecution, whoever, somebody asked him, what did you lose throughout this entire process? And his exact response, emotional as it may have been, was nothing short of everything. Like everything. So of course we can look at this as like, oh, he's a rich guy, like who cares? Whatever, dude. Move to Mexico, live your life over there. But let's remove our classist ways of thinking and look at this from the perspective of victim and abuser and remove the barriers of the stigmas that are attached to this social current climate, where it is perceived that you believe all women, even if they're wrong, and if they're wrong, there's somebody out there that the situation may apply to, so in the end they're right. And it's unfortunate because it opens up this umbrella of like where people can basically pull kind of like a Juicy Smollett, where you can completely fabricate a situation that can completely destroy somebody's life, and there's virtually no repercussions for it outside of a few people think you're a bad person. But in the end, you as the person that's committing the act know that most people don't really care past the first week of the incident. So you just keep it moving, and that's it.
They split in 2017.
So there you go.
Yeah. So from 2015 to 2017, they were together.
There you go.
Sorry, just had to throw that out there.
No, that's fine. And I get it. Like I've dated quote unquote pretty women before,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean, in hindsight, I don't care. Who cares? I guess that's kind of like surface level, but I guess when you have money and you have everything, I guess what you want is something pretty to look at. I don't
Yeah.
know. I guess that would be the premise to why he married such an evil human being. Um, but I don't really look at that as a filter to like justify actions. Um, and I think it's also fair to say that I understand that women for a long time, for decades, regardless of whatever dating social norms there may be, where we want a submissive woman or somebody that listens to us, like just removing that. I think it's okay to acknowledge that pretty much historically, women in general have been victims of violence, both emotionally and physically, just from men in general.
Mhm.
Maybe not you and I particularly, of
Mhm.
course, but generally speaking, as a side of our species, they've always been prone to just be exposed to suffering, just
Mhm.
naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, not justifying, but we're just more aggressive creatures. We just have more testosterone.
Mhm.
And it wasn't until the development of women's rights and advancement in pathological studies and really anything that has to do with human behavior that we advanced as a species and we're able to understand that violence isn't always the answer or even the way to get a point across.
But sometimes it is.
And sometimes it was the only way. Hence why Amber Heard is right. But this is, and I hate looking at, I only have Reddit, right? So Reddit is also just FYI.
Oh, that's your social media now, huh?
Yeah, mainly because there is no algorithm outside of just internet stuff.
Right.
So it's not something specific to me.
Mm.
And I make sure to clear my cache every single day because I don't want even a glimpse of anything and it's literally that. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing in particular to me.
Right.
But I look at that and I look at YouTube and then I go do my own research. So in general, that's where I'm able to get my information from.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we are currently on the cusp of a new horizon, and that in that horizon is a world of hurt for men as a species, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, women cannot actually hurt us. Like in the actual trial itself, you have, sure, emotional damage. Yes, of course. You have
Mhm.
trauma from like being bullied and being violated by your partner, of course.
Yeah.
But like, can a woman like actually hurt you? I think that was one of the notions that she was trying to use against him. Like, I may have punched you, but I didn't hurt you. Like, I understood.
No, she said, "I didn't punch you. I hit you."
There you go.
That's what she said.
I guess she was trying to like undermine just
Yeah,
how hard,
yeah,
which I
trying
get
to
that
justify
because
it.
realistically, sure, she probably didn't she probably didn't hurt him physically, but it was probably the emotional side that like hurts. Obviously,
Shoot, except for the vodka bottle, she definitely hurt him physically.
yeah, yeah.
Freaking
Yeah.
bones sticking out of his finger. That's ridiculous.
Definitely.
Dude.
Yeah, I saw that, man. It was oof. I ain't gonna say white women, just as one white woman, dude. That's it. She used pretty privilege. She used every single privilege available, and even now, the worst that's gonna happen is she's gonna be called a bad girl, but she'll probably still get work just because she's pretty.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But I see, and let me rephrase my previous point. I don't think that we are victims in this world. I don't. Because I still think that men, naturally, we have the upper hand, just physically alone. And then for some reason, the current infrastructure in government and in the workplace in general, I think it's safe to say that it's still pro-man. So, like in some certain business situations, well, at least where I am,
Mm-hmm.
it's perceived to be more concrete or definite if a man is presenting information to you, whatever the context may be,
Mm-hmm.
than if a woman is presenting it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, of course, it's just completely removing credentials, removing titles, but I think it's safe to say that that is the current notion.
Mm-hmm.
And you only know if they're lying once you actually find out that they're lying to you. But again, just the basic premise.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, I don't think that we're victims of anything, but I
Mm-hmm.
say we're on the brink of,
Mm-hmm.
because we currently have a multifaceted dilemma that there doesn't seem to be one single answer to. So, how I'll present this is, first and foremost, you have incels,
Mm-hmm.
removing dating. Incels being the far right of the sexual spectrum, where women are quite literally the enemy. They never know what they want. And because we have no idea how to get what we think we want, we're just going to make them the enemy because it's more convenient. That's all it is. That's basically what it is. I don't care what research the red side wants to present.
Mm-hmm.
Been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
You're lying to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, you have female incels, which they exist. I just
Mhm.
forget the term for them.
Mhm.
But it's the same thing. And then you have layers upon layers of the middle ground,
Mhm.
where every other layer is situational instead of being a definite side, kind of like the far left and the far right.
Mhm.
So, seeing and being exposed to high level cases like Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, Jussie Smollett versus the city of Chicago,
Mhm.
Black people getting shot, every single prolific uh, Black people being shot, it being recorded, nothing happens to the police officers.
Mhm.
Removing context, obviously, it's just the premise alone.
Mhm.
Um, but I think we're being exposed to too much information that in turn is skewing our perception of what morals should somewhat look like.
Mhm.
And that is dictating our behavior
Mhm.
as a general, not me and you specifically, because I
Mhm.
think you and I are pretty level headed.
Mhm.
Um, but it's skewing our perception of the world, our perception of the opposite sex, and our perception of how to carry ourselves.
Mhm.
Because I see, if you look at, just look at Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Johnny Depp has decades upon decades worth of work, beloved by millions of people because of his movie roles. And these people don't even know him, but they know him from his movies. They know him from his charitable work, which is documented. It can
Mhm.
be a whatever. It might be a publicity stunt, but it's there nonetheless.
Mhm.
He goes to hospitals for children with cancer. So he goes and he acts like Captain Jack Sparrow. So he does these small acts of kindness that amount to a large positive overview of him.
Mhm.
On the contrary, you have Amber Heard, who, like I said earlier, has used pretty much every single privilege known to women that you
Mhm.
could possibly use
Mhm.
to her benefit and at the detriment of others.
Mhm.
Johnny Depp is only the tip of the iceberg in in the grand scheme of things. I believe that if she was able to do something like this to somebody of this profile and this status
Mhm.
on her way up, she has 100% done that to at least probably a dozen men all on her way up. Directors, movie casters, actors, co-workers, whatever their name is. There's a name, but I forget what it is. But I think if you look at how she grew up, she came from pretty normal background. But I think being indoctrinated from a young age to believe that your looks are enough to justify your character, then you can do what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not that old. I think she's like 31, 32, something like that. Maybe a little bit older than that, if that. But I think it's safe to say that she's grown up like you and I in the sense of exposure to social media
Mm-hmm.
and exposure to information.
Mm-hmm.
She just knew how to capitalize on that exposure and how to use certain narratives to benefit her.
Mm-hmm.
And now here, this is complete speculation. I believe that she used that to get certain movie roles. She used that to get certain things for her life, which I mean, like most people would, if you got the upper hand, then why not use it? I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
It just, to me, if you can do it without being a detriment to others,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just an evil person, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But again, she grew up, at least in the digital aspect, during the transitionary period from 2006 to about 2012, where in that 6-year period, you see a atomic bomb of social media just drop. And everybody and the world completely changed the way that they interact, they behave, that they consume information.
Mm-hmm.
And that has, I mean, it quite literally has changed the world.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's for the good or bad, I mean, it's up to interpretation in a situation.
Mm-hmm.
But in this context, I think we're seeing the byproduct of a tool that we use every day, being social media. The byproduct being a human thinks that they can use every privilege that they see is popular and get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because she basically got away with it. There was
Mm-hmm.
never any actual evidence. He was never convicted of anything, charged with anything. Like nothing was ever concrete outside of he said, she said.
Right.
Objection, hearsay. So, that was basically it. And this, I think, is only going to lead to a worse global situation, at least here not global, in the United States.
Yeah.
I think it's setting the wrong precedent
Mm-hmm.
for the middle men. Like men are our level, the
Mm-hmm.
ones that we're just average Joes, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But other humans see this and think, well, some are going to reason and think like us, like, wow, this is horrible. Hopefully he gets, something out of it. But you're always going to have those, and you see it on Reddit, and that's what I was going to reference earlier. You see people that still take up for the person that was in the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, heck, there were still people defending Jussie Smollett, even though he was literally wrong and proven wrong and charged for being wrong.
Yeah, right.
But they still defended him just on, well, he's a black man in America. White people get away with it every day anyway, so we should get one.
That's stupid.
Which is a horrible way of saying we know we're wrong and he should apologize.
Yeah.
Which he never did. He still stood by that and then claimed he wasn't crazy or something like that, whatever.
Yeah, he's still playing the victim, dude.
Yeah.
You saw that the last, I guess it was the last time he was in court where he was saying,
I'm not
I am
suicidal.
not suicidal.
Yes, there you go. Sorry, that's
it's
what I was
like
talking about.
he's just trying to make it seem like, no, if you lock me up, somebody's going to kill me, so don't lock me up.
Yeah.
Y'all are to blame for locking me up because y'all are basically sending me to my deathbed when in fact it's like, dude, you're just manipulating people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they eat it up.
Yeah, they do.
So, I mean, why not? And his privilege isn't that he's rich. I mean, he's well off, but he wasn't even a top paid actor on his own show that he was on.
Yeah.
What he is benefiting from is, respectfully, the support of the black community.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not something that I'm just saying it and that's speaking out of ignorance. No, that's completely known. You can go ahead and ask 10 different people of the same African or just American, really,
Mm-hmm.
ethnicity.
Oh.
Dave Chappelle himself literally made a skit mocking Jussie Smollett, but the premise to his joke is that black folk kept quiet because they knew what was up to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not support. Like, all right, well, we're not gonna outright say you're right, but you can just go ahead and slide with it because you're black.
Right.
So we all go through the struggle, so we get it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this isn't speculation, so I have no fear in saying this.
Mm-hmm.
This is known, so
Right.
it's not crazy. But he benefited from the community
Mm-hmm.
supporting him, knowing that he's wrong, which is cool, man. I get it. You know, I don't agree with it, but I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
But what do you think about all this? I went for 25 minutes, so my bad.
Oh no, you're good. I think that the chick is a sociopath,
Right.
and by that I mean like not born, because sociopath and psychopath are so interchanged, almost like they're synonyms for each other. But what I mean by sociopath is a person that was not born with a chemical imbalance in their brain, but rather society formed them to be that way.
Mm.
Almost like because she was beautiful, because she realized that she could get away with things. But yeah, because of her being treated so well throughout her life, presumably, that's caused her to be narcissistic. And then on top of that, I think most actors in general are narcissistic.
Right.
And then I think it takes a certain type of person to even want to strive to be that great, and along the way not do anything to contribute. At least none that I've heard. I haven't heard of her doing any sort of real contribution, unlike Elon Musk, right? It's like
Right.
there's people that make it to the top and their whole purpose is focused on benefiting everybody.
Yeah.
And then there's the others that are focused on just status and soothing their egos. But yeah, man, like during the trial, dude, like it is like it's so evident that she was wrong for all of this. And I'm not saying that he's innocent. And by innocent, I mean like purely innocent. Like I think he's innocent in the sense that I don't really believe that he hit her or that he was participating in any sort of domestic abuse that was physical. I mean, I'm sure that he's not innocent. I'm not sure, but I suspect that he's not innocent when it came to verbal insults and
Oh no.
being
Yeah.
also toxic as well.
Absolutely.
Especially since like clearly he's been fighting his own demons that he's been trying to subdue with alcohol and drugs.
Yeah.
And typically people that are participating in that type of lifestyle also are going to be in toxic relationships because of unresolved issues in themselves. But like, dude, she looks bad. Like she's looked bad throughout this case. Her attorneys look
my
stupid.
God. Horrendous.
They look so stupid. Like,
Dude.
and Johnny Depp, dude, like I'll give him props for coming back with these great comebacks.
Yeah.
He's hilarious,
Yeah.
man. He's hilarious. And I even like watching his reactions to things, man, like he seems genuine. Like he doesn't seem like he's trying to play up anything. Like he's a great actor, but you don't see any sort of acting. He could easily fake an extreme emotion to try and sell some sort of sympathy card or something like that, but it just seems like he's relaying facts. His voice is pretty monotone throughout the entire thing, just talking normal for him. And I'm curious to see whenever she gets on the stand and has to, I guess, testify about her side of the story, how she's going to react. Because, dude, like, there's clips that I've seen of like her smirking and making
Yeah.
little smiles whenever it comes to him being hurt or when it comes to anything bad happening to him. And I'm like, you're so vindictive. Like,
Yeah.
chick, you're not that important. And it's like, even if you were that important, it's like, that's just grimy. It's grimy. Like, how are you going to destroy this man's career who, at least from what I've seen, has not physically abused you? And especially, like, you saw the whole makeup thing, right? Did we already talk about the makeup?
The makeup thing?
Yeah.
No, I don't think we have.
So, we didn't talk about the makeup?
No.
Okay, so basically, I guess there was like a photo of her with her eye bruised. And supposedly, she was using this specific makeup palette made by whatever brand it was. And she said that the entire time that her eye was bruised, she was using this specific brand of makeup and this specific palette. And the company that created that palette said that that palette didn't even exist during the time period when she had that bruise. So it's like, you look stupid now.
Yeah.
The facts are stacked against you. And it's like, you're... I don't know, dude. Like, she's just... Like, I mean, really, I can't put it any other way, but it just seems like she's just a gold digger. And even if it's not being a gold digger from him, maybe it's just attention. Maybe she just wants a lot of attention and is hoping that this is going to catapult her career because she's a victim and we need to celebrate her for being strong and enduring through a marriage that was toxic and abusive. You know how the media likes to hype all of this stuff up. But yeah, man, like, for those of y'all that don't know, she took a dump on this dude's bed.
Literally.
That's ridiculous. She threw 2 vodka bottles at him, one of which ended up slamming against his finger in the countertop and severed his finger to the point of bone coming out. And then Johnny Depp, dude. So like I was watching a video breakdown of, I watched a lot of breakdowns of his body language, specifically from a channel called The Behavior Panel.
Is that a bald guy?
The Behavior Panel is 4 men, and they've all worked in FBI training, secret agent training, like all sorts of like government type of body language training, right? So they're like the experts, and they have a channel on YouTube called The Behavior Panel, and they're the authorities on body language. Like every other channel, I take with a grain of salt, but whenever I watch their body language breakdowns, you can clearly tell that they are so educated in this by the terminology that they use and how consistent they are, that it's like, okay, you guys really do know what you're talking about. But anyway, so I watched a body language breakdown of this trial, and I mean, they're even saying that look, she's basically just capitalizing on a situation that didn't even happen, just out of spite to him. And they're saying that maybe her motivation for all of this was that she wasn't getting enough attention in the relationship. So she was trying to get his attention any way that she could. But they can't tell that from body language, right?
Yeah.
But that, like, Johnny Depp has been, as far as they can tell, truthful throughout this entire thing. And in one of the times when Johnny was speaking, he mentioned that he wrote all of the things that she did to him on the wall in blood with the bloody finger. Were you aware of that?
No.
So what one of the body language experts was saying was that him even bringing that up, there's only two conclusions that you can come to. Because if you're trying to make yourself look good on a stand, you're not going to bring up something crazy like you're writing with your finger that's severed all of the bad things that she's done to you in blood on the wall, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's not something that you would, if you were trying to be strategic in court, you wouldn't do that because you're going to make yourself seem crazy, thus feeding into the abusive husband type, right?
Yeah.
So it was either that or he did this because he suspected that maybe she would try and bring that up in court to try and flip that against him. But he confessed that that's what he did. And like, that really reminded me of a relationship that I was in, to where I've done something similar because I had to make it so jarring that I needed to remember so that I don't make the same mistake of getting back with this person, because this person is so seductive and has such a tight hold on my heart that if I don't have such a vivid reminder, I'm scared that I might give back into the seduction and fall victim and prey to this person, right? So I really don't think it's crazy. Now, I do think it's crazy in general, like just hearing that someone's going to write the bad things that someone's done to them in blood on a wall when you have a severed finger. I mean, that's not something normal, but it's not crazy if you're really trying to send a message to yourself to not make this same mistake, because look, the only reason there's even blood on this wall is because of this crazy chick, and you need to stay away from her, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I'm like, dang, I really feel for Johnny Depp in this case. And like, every single witness that's been brought up, dude, every single witness has only brought forth positive things to say about Johnny outside of his drug abuse or alcohol abuse.
Yeah, which he confessed to.
Which he
didn't hide
confessed to,
that.
right? Yeah. And I mean, he's going back to what these body language experts have said. It's like, if he was trying to make himself look like a saint, he's not doing a good job at it.
Yeah.
Because his goal isn't to make himself look like a saint in general. His goal is just to prove himself innocent in this specific area, because this is what's damaging his career. This is what's holding him up from being able to collaborate with Disney, being able to collaborate with all of these, like, he's not receiving phone calls like he used to. And it's like, it's a shame, dude, because he's an amazing actor. I mean, when you see his personality from him being in court versus you seeing him play the role of Captain Jack Sparrow, this enthusiastic, over the top type of character, or even Willy Wonka, dude, like, that's a total opposite personality to who he is as a person, because he's extremely introverted and like, he's a loner, but he plays these roles that are very charismatic and outgoing, and it's like, I don't know, he's a great actor, and it's not that I care about his acting career, because like I said, I've never been like a huge fan of him, but I just care about justice being served, because I guess there's a subtle bitterness toward the media that I have, that paints all women as innocent simply because they're women. And I don't like that type of narrative being propagated on the public, because what message is that going to ever send to men? Like, men are always going to, how do I
you're not allowed to take a stance because you're wrong. Just the fact that you're a man makes you wrong.
And it's like, eventually you just give up. And what sort of weak men do we want our future to have? Men that feel powerless and feel like they can't do anything about anything, so why even fight for anything? And
she used that against him too. She used his non-aggressive demeanor against him, and trying to use it in the context of, you're not being a man because you're not acting out on this. You're not being a man because you're complaining about me hitting you. Like, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah, she was calling him a big baby. For basically, like, for her hitting him, like saying, "Oh, you're not hurt," this and that, like trying to make him seem weak. And then he was like, whenever he was trying to leave the situation, she's like, "Oh yeah, because that's what a husband does."
Yeah.
And just goes to one of his 15 houses that he has. That's what a husband does. That's what a normal husband does. And it's like, what is the word that I'm looking for? What is that called?
Manipulate?
No, that's it's gaslighting.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's just gaslighting him. I'm like, God, you are such a manipulative person, like so freaking psychotic.
But I think this situation, I mean, she's evil. None of it justifies anything that she has said or done. It's all recorded, it's all on tape. Even if you assume that, or if you try to take her side, I'm just going to assume that you're an idiot because you're just choosing to look past facts. So, whatever.
Mhm.
But removing even Amber Heard, I mean, it's not like he married her when he was 20 or 30 or
Yeah.
even 40.
Yeah.
He married her when he was in his late 50s.
hmm
So I think, should you hold Amber Heard accountable for her actions? Yes.
I think it was in his 40s, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It's
It
still
was
old
old.
enough. Yeah,
You're old enough to
Yeah.
know.
hmm
I think this is a bigger reflection of him than it is of her, to be honest with you. And I think, and again, it's not justifying it.
hmm
Not at all.
Yeah.
But how severed is this man to where he thinks that he has to succumb himself to this type of treatment from
Mhm.
another human?
Yeah.
I don't care if you're pretty or not.
Yeah.
At the very least, every couple fights, every couple
Yeah.
argues, differences, and all that.
hmm
But not every couple goes to this extent.
Yeah.
And that's where it really surprises me, like how you can allow yourself to get to this point, or even why your standards of self-respect for yourself
Yeah.
are so low. And this isn't some guy that we're talking about that's a very good looking chap, not the richest, but his looks have gotten him this far.
Right.
We're talking about a extremely, like, the top 1% of the 1% up there.
Yeah.
Not just financially, but societal level.
Yeah.
He's up there.
Yeah.
This man subjected himself to this type of behavior because this is what he thinks he deserves.
Yeah.
I think that's evidence that money isn't everything.
No.
But
no. Definitely
On
not.
top of that, there's obviously something wrong in this man.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm glad it's being exposed now. And I hope that as a society, we start regulating the social climate.
hmm
Understanding that, yes, you're going to have instances where women are right.
hmm
Understandably so.
Yeah. Especially like the R. Kelly trial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
Women were
Exactly
right.
like
Yeah.
that. 100%.
hmm
But then let's treat when women are wrong with the exact same energy.
Right.
Instead of society is against us to begin with, so we're just going to let this slide.
Yeah.
AKA Jussie Smollett.
Yeah.
And it's important to keep that same energy, but it's again, it's one of those, like, not saddens, but it's frustrating to understand or know that that's not going to happen. Because if it was going to happen, we wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
But here we are.
hmm
And this is something that it's not going to get better.
hmm
I think we see on the emotional side, the worst version of this through simps. And at the very least, Johnny Depp is rich, charismatic. He can get any woman. He's had any woman he wants. So this
Mhm.
isn't a question of that.
Mhm.
And having sex and being rich isn't a validation of your masculinity.
hmm
I'm only using it as an example of reference.
hmm
But you have literally guys out here who, specifically in Japan, they will watch what they perceive to be pretty live streamer donate money
Yes.
from their finances, just completely donate,
Right.
and the chance of being shouted out for their
Right.
donation.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, from the woman's perspective, I encourage it. Go crazy.
Mhm.
These people are willing to give you free money just for existing.
Right.
Great, go for it. Do
Yeah.
I like that personally? Heck no. Would I allow my significant other to ever do that? No.
Yeah.
If she ever did, bye.
Yeah.
Go feed off of them. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But we see on a day-to-day basis the extremities of this.
Mhm.
And it's normalized now because we have that stigma of, well, they're just simps. They don't know any better. They can't do any better. Let them live. This is what makes them happy. But why do they have to resort to this? Why can't they have an equal opportunity to improve themselves to the point where they can understand that you don't have to give away money to get attention from
Mhm.
another human being?
Mhm.
You don't have to resort to online interaction to have interaction.
Yeah.
But again, that's not where we are.
Mhm.
And I think with these precedents, it's only going to get worse.
Mhm.
Now, what the next case is going to be, I don't really know. I think they may not be as glamorous or as high profile, but you're going to start seeing women just literally murdering men because they can,
Right. If it gets out of hand.
if it gets out of hand.
Yeah. If culture just
Yeah.
says, "Oh no, women are right for doing it, whatever they want
Yeah,
to do."
whatever
Yeah.
they want to do.
Yeah.
And little by little, it's getting there.
Yeah.
I mean, I just earlier today on Reddit, I saw a video of a black woman who claimed to love her daughter, who is like 6 months old, newborn. She was beating this child, literally, because her baby daddy, or the father of her child, was flirting with other women online. So as a retaliation against the man, she would beat his child. Now, she went to jail, charges and all that. It all
Thank
happened.
God.
But why does this woman feel like this is okay? Because she sees the social climate. They won't believe you. They're going to think that I'm right. My baby daddy's a bum. This entire narrative that he is the end. And even if he is wrong, whatever, fine. You have your differences with him. But that's not how you do things. Not even close. But that's what I mean by we're there. And we're going to see more extreme cases of situations where women are allowed to get away with things. Forget the filter of women. People will be allowed to get away with things because the social climate dictates for it to be that way.
Mhm.
And it's interesting to me how things have changed. And it's going to be interesting to me to see how they change in the future. But until then, I'm minding my business. And I hope that the people that listen to this podcast, you have enough self-respect. Maybe you don't understand that you deserve basic stuff like respect. If someone wants to text you, they'll text you, stuff like that. And you don't have to succumb yourself to abusive behavior or being ignored or being hit, violated, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
If you hear this podcast, I hope that you know that. And if you don't know that, understand that you're going to go through a couple of Amber Heards until you learn that.
Yeah.
But I hope it doesn't take you to your 40-something years old to realize it.
Yeah.
Male or female.
You know what's crazy, dude, is like this is stuff like he had a troubled childhood, Johnny Depp. Same thing with Will Smith.
Yeah.
And you see Will Smith's relationship with his wife, like she's nuts. She's nuts. And I think that I think that this childhood trauma affects these men.
Absolutely.
I mean, even myself included, because when you don't grow up watching an example of something working, then you're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like it's also, especially women, like women will go after the bad boy. One of the reasons being that it's exciting, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with being with a crazy woman.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of exciting in the sense that you get extreme passion, and then unfortunately what comes with extreme passion in the good sense is extreme passion in the negative sense as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I understand why somebody on that level would subject themselves to being in that type of relationship. And also maybe even nobody else is taking his ego down a notch, and this one does. And that makes it harder to get for him when every other woman is going to hype him up as though he's God in the flesh, right? Meanwhile, because it's kind of like that with pretty women, like in the pickup culture, they call it negging, where you say something negative to them about them in order to hurt their ego so that you look higher status in their eyes, because now they're feeling insecure, and then they feel like, oh, well, what he said is kind of right, and I just don't get it. Every other guy wants me so bad, they're willing to do whatever it takes to have me, and this guy doesn't, and he even is willing to insult me, so now I want him. You know, and that could be maybe part of what the psychology is between him and Amber.
Probably.
Maybe, yeah. But I don't know, dude. It's so multifaceted that humans, any human, the most simple human is multifaceted in trying to understand how they became who they are. I don't know how I became who I am. I can only speculate what could have caused me to behave in the way that I do at times.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, dude. Anyway, I feel for him, and I hope that he wins this case, because if he doesn't, all hope is lost, and all of us men need to start saving our money to buy our own island and live there.
Or a lot easier, just start hitting back. Oh well, hey man, equal lefts and rights.
We're going back to the 1820s.
That's right,
We're
dude.
beating these women.
That's right, dude. Sometimes, you know what? Nah. Luckily, this is just a defamation case, so she's not going to get tried for crimes. She's just being tried for defamation.
Yeah.
So if he can provide enough evidence that she lied, then he can potentially, well, one, he's suing her for $50 million.
Right, which is petty.
So, yeah.
Like, the amount of money that he would have made in the time that he's been canceled by these
everyone
media networks, it's like 50 million. He's clearly not suing her for the money.
Yeah.
He's only suing her for his reputation back.
Yeah.
And even that, he's not going to get his reputation back, because like you said, there's people that are so biased that are also women that really just want women to win so bad that they're willing to
be wrong.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And you know, if you do think like that, I understand. Like, you know, you've been so hurt for so long. You never got a chance to redeem or cope with it, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So, of course, I may judge you just from the sense of like you're being stupid, but I can understand your reasoning because I understand potentially the background that you came from.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, it's fair and it's unfair at the same time. But like, I mean, we've said this before multiple times. Humans are going to be human, dude. Like, it doesn't clearly. Having money is not an indicator of how you're going to behave.
Yeah.
Not even close.
It's like rapists. Like, rapists are typically victims of sexual abuse. And it's like, just because I understand how you came to be the way that you are doesn't justify you continuing the cycle.
Of course.
In the same way that it's like, just because these women may have actually been victims and they're just siding for the side of women because they have this bias based on their background, and it's like, yeah, it's emotional and it hurts, but it's like you also have to set yourself aside and not let your own biases cloud your judgment on something, because at the end of the day, why would you want someone that is innocent of something to have negative repercussions happen to them if you're really a good person? And everybody considers themselves a good person. Hitler would have considered himself to be a good person. Very few people are actually psychotic enough to say that I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
Very few. I mean, criminals think that they did it right.
It was
You know what I mean? It's justified. Yeah. Nobody says, oh yeah, I'm a terrible person and I deserve to be tied to a tree, set on fire, and then shot to death. I mean, nobody's saying that. But yeah, dude.
Yeah. And yeah, man. Hopefully we can, as a species, as humans, we can at some point find a way to navigate this thing called life in a way that isn't detrimental to everybody else. Granted, that's being optimistic and that's hoping for the best. And I know that the reality is that, again, it's only going to get worse. And I'm interested to see what's actually going to happen from this and the toll that it's going to have on society and men and women. Yeah, I'm just kind of, if anything, I'm kind of enthusiastic about it. Like, this is going to be interesting. But
man, I don't know. Like at the end, I think even if he wins this case, right, which I'm believing he is.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, there's something crooked in the system.
Yes.
But even if he wins, he's not the right sex, he's not the right race, and he's not the right sexual orientation to be favored in society. If he was a black female transgender, then he would be praised in society because of the political system. Like, media is not going to be excited and celebrating his victory, and nobody's going to come to him apologizing publicly. No. Like, that's not going to happen.
Nope.
But if this was a black woman in his same exact shoes, I mean, everything identical, there would be some great media story about how the victim became the victor, you know, and it's like, it's a shame how politics influence society so greatly, because it really does affect, it affects more than politics itself. It affects people's lives.
Yeah. And that's why, I mean, at the start of this conversation, I said, I mean, it's difficult to feel for either one of these humans, because at the end of the day, they're still rich.
Yeah.
One's just richer than the other. But at the end of the day, what's really going to happen with this is, wow, interesting. A week later, the next big thing is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just everyone's going to forget. That's it. Yeah.
We're watching it for entertainment.
And that's why I say, like, I'm interested to see what the next thing is going to be. Yeah. At least along these lines.
Right.
Because it's going to be something even more severe. Yeah. Somebody's going to kill somebody. I mean, it happens every day, but like a high profile case, there's going to be another OJ. I just want to see where it's going to come from.
Right. Dude, this put an end to Will Smith's thing. Nobody's talking about, immediately. Like, everybody, that was the thing that, like, for weeks.
Yeah.
That was
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. But now this pops off and it's like, all right, we've got the next juicy story.
Yeah. And that's why I say, like, man.
But even prior to that, dude, what happened to Astro World? And what
buried.
Buried.
People actually died.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Children died. Yeah. And it's like, what's up with that? Nobody's enraged anymore. Nobody cares about that anymore. Yeah. Like, it's crazy, dude. Like,
just wait it out.
We're just watching a reality show, and it's like actual reality.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. It's again, that's why I keep saying, like, I'm curious to see what's gonna happen next. Like,
Straight up,
what's
next
gonna happen on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z,
Stupid.
dude? Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
So stupid.
But I can tell you what's gonna happen on the next episode of this podcast is we're gonna talk about something else.
Yeah.
With that in mind, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Try not to get slapped. Try not to get hit with vodka bottles. But more importantly, get out and get some fresh air, man.
Yeah.
Cut these streams
And
off.
subscribe to the channel.
Absolutely.
And share the episodes.
Absolutely.
And like and comment and do whatever it is that YouTube likes you to do.
Yeah, definitely. Above everything else, forget paying your bills. Like this podcast.
Absolutely. It's free to do it.
Right. This doesn't cost you anything. That's it. So even more incentive. Anyway, well, thank you for joining us. This is Mario.
And Clint.
We're out.